Hi, everyone. I am Tracy Morling with Bright Sand Travel, and I wanted to come to you today to talk about traveling during COVID-19. As we move forward, things are starting to open up, and people want to travel. Some people want to travel now. Some people want to wait and travel, plan for 2021. But either way, travel is going to be different. There are, a lot of restrictions in place right now. It's not easy to navigate, and it's changing all the time. So I want to talk a little bit about that as far as how some of the countries and islands are starting to open up. Some are very obviously wary of having U.S. citizens come, so there are a lot of restrictions in place. So if you're looking at going someplace, please reach out to me and let's talk, because I've kind of been following this. Like I said, it changes all the time. It's hard to keep up with. But many of the islands require COVID-19 tests, negative COVID-19 tests taken within like 3 to 10 days before you travel. The results have to be uploaded, and you have to get approval before you can even travel. So a lot of people aren't aware of that, but that is pretty common right now. And, for U.S. citizens, or even maybe just specific states that are on that hot list. So you need to be aware of that. Also need to be aware some places are requiring quarantine when you arrive. So you may be quarantined to your resort or your room even. So you need to be aware of that. Also, a lot of them, they have an application process. So if you're going to go there, you do the COVID-19 test, you have to apply. One island even charges a substantial fee to help cover all the related expenses extra expenses that they're going through. So you need to be aware of everything. Even medvac insurance. Some of the islands and countries are requiring that you purchase insurance through them in case you get sick. This is on top of your own travel insurance or whatever, in case you get sick, and you have to be, medically evacuated out. So that's something in place at some of the islands as well. A lot of things to navigate. So because of this, I decided, of course, some of my clients want to travel. I was ready to travel. And so I decided that I wanted to experience it firsthand so I can share it with you guys when you're ready. And also I can share it with you now, and maybe it helps you determine if you're ready or not to travel. So because I knew of all the restrictions at a lot of the different islands, I chose to kind of go the easy route. Right now, Mexico and the Dominican Republic, as of September 15th, do not require a negative COVID-19 test prior to arrival. So they do require a health questionnaire completed, but pretty easy entry process right now. Mexico's been open since June to U.S. citizens, and the Dominican since July. So I felt pretty comfortable there. I've been watching things. I knew, that they had a lot of safety precautions in place. And so I chose to go to Mexico, and I chose to go to Los Cabos, which is Cabo San Lucas, and also San Jose del Cabo. It's kind of that whole area between those two areas called Los Cabos. So I decided to go there, one, because it is an easy flight. It was a 2-hour nonstop flight for me now that I'm living in Arizona. And so I wanted, something short, nonstop, because I knew the flying was going to be kind of, cumbersome. You have to wear a mask the whole time, obviously. And I had a feeling it was going to be kind of crowded, and it was. So just kind of let you know, I wanted to share my experience too with that. So I chose to go there. Los Cabos, right now, the government is, all the states in Mexico, the government is regulating how much capacity they can operate at. So right now, Los Cabos area is at 40%. The Riviera Maya Cancun just recently went up to 60%. So, those areas are limited. And right now, honestly, this is their slowest time. So they're usually probably right around that anyway. But most of those resorts, resorts in that area are very large, and it's easy to social distance, tons of outdoor space. So, like I said, that really wasn't my concern about once I arrived. My biggest concern was getting there. And it was warranted, honestly. I traveled to the airport, parked in the parking garage, took a shuttle, and the shuttle required a mask. That was fine. Everybody was social distance. Got to the airport. You check in, you stand in the line, everybody's spaced, social distancing, everybody's wearing masks, employees, everybody in the airport. So you get to the gate, and the airport was kind of crowded. I mean, there were a lot of people hanging around the gate. It was a little harder to social distance there, but people were trying. And then it was time to board. Well, there is no social distancing at time to board. It was just craziness. Everybody wanted to get on that airplane. So at that point, I mean, as you can imagine, everybody rushes to the gate to get on. And so that was a little crazy. Got on the plane. I flew American. It was probably 90% full, crowded. Yep, pretty much every seat. So American Airlines, United Airlines, they are not blocking middle seats, whereas Southwest is blocking seats now through November, middle seats through November. Southwest, kind of different boarding process, but basically they're selling 2/3 max of the plane. And then Delta has actually blocked middle seats all the way through till, I believe, January 3rd. So that's wonderful. So you can fly those airlines. That would be a little bit better scenario. So you just have to be aware. I mean, you're going to get on the plane. It's going to be crowded. You're going to wear masks. They're going to require that. I heard the flight attendant tell somebody to put their mask up. Of course, you can, have a drink of water, whatever. My flight was 2 hours long. They were not giving out anything unless you asked for like water. So I know on the longer flights, they are providing like little snack bags and things. And first class, they are having some limited service. So, but that's something to be aware about too. I mean, it was crowded. So arriving in Los Cabos, it was, the airport, they shuttle you through, got on a little shuttle. Everybody was kind of crowded on that. We went through the airport and immigration process. There was the thermal scan for your temperature, and there was a health form that they passed out, and you had to complete that, basically saying, what airline you're on and the flight and your seat number, so they could do any tracing if they needed to. You had to say that, you hadn't had any symptoms, hadn't felt sick or been around anybody was sick. So my shuttle then, I went through immigration and customs, and I picked up my shuttle, and the shuttle drivers wear masks. They ask that you wear masks too, unless you're eating or drinking on the shuttle. And so I took the shuttle to my first resort, and there, everybody was wearing masks. In the lobby at check-in, you're asked to wear a mask. They'd had a health questionnaire again, took your temperature. They had you, this was everywhere. They disinfected the bottom of your shoes. So you had to stand on this mat and kind of scrape your feet and walk through there so that the bottom of your shoes were disinfected. And they also took your luggage and sprayed down your luggage and disinfected that. Had hand sanitizer. And this was pretty much, I stayed at 2 different resorts while I was there, and I visited 6 others. And this was pretty standard. Every resort, this is government regulated. They have to do that. So that was very standard. One of the resorts even did little blood oxygen level and was monitoring everything through that. So that was different. That was only one resort, though. I noticed that. So at the resort, what's different? Well, first of all, like I mentioned, the resorts, once you get on property, it is easy to social distance. Even the first property that I was at, which was kind of a smaller concept and a little bit more of a party atmosphere, they had a quiet pool that was very relaxed and very, there was plenty of room to social distance in the pool and the chairs around it. The resorts, most of them have outdoor dining, that if you want to sit outdoors, you can sit outdoors, or they have indoor dining. They have reduced the capacity at all the indoor dining. So that's kind of stated on their door of each of the restaurants. You'll see it. And you can tell where they've taken tables out and spread things out more. People do not wear masks that I saw at all in the indoor dining. But again, it is very spread out. And you have the option of eating outside. So every resort had outdoor dining options. So if you wanted to eat outside, you could. So as far as, social distancing at the resorts was not an issue. Things that were different. In your room, all the personal toiletry items were sealed in sealed bags. So, and then some items like a robe, slippers, that type of thing, if you wanted that, you had to ask for it. It wasn't automatically in the room. Also, one of the properties I stayed at didn't have the minibar filled. Minibars in all-inclusive resorts come standard. They fill them daily. But you had to just call room service and tell them exactly what you wanted, and then they brought that to you on a tray, didn't come into your room, and you loaded your minibar, which was fine. The other property I stayed at, it was loaded, and they replenished it. So as far as also in the rooms, the remote control was in a sealed bag. I mean, they do a really good job of trying to do everything they can to sanitize and keep things safe. Like I said, the room service, one resort, they wouldn't come into my room. They just handed it to you. The other one they did. As far as the cleaning of the rooms, when people leave, I heard anywhere from 48 to 72 hours, which is one reason why, they have the lower occupancy so they can have rooms free. So they clean the rooms, sanitize them, shut them. Some of them even put a seal on the door so they can tell if it's been broken, and then let those keep those empty until somebody checks in, but not earlier than 48 hours. So that was good too. The resorts are doing everything they can to keep you safe, and I honestly felt really safe at the resorts. I never felt uncomfortable. Never saw something was don't know about that. The employees, every single one of them wears a mask. They do a wonderful job of trying to social distance with you, and this is their livelihood. And they were out of work. Most of these people, like in Mexico, they were out of work maybe 3 months. Some countries it's been longer than that. So they want the tourists there. They are doing everything possible to be safe and keep you safe. So as far as other things I noticed that were different, dining, like I said, indoor, outdoor. The tables were bare when you sat down, so it wasn't like they had tablecloths and the silverware and everything on the table. So they would, you sat down, they would bring you your silverware sealed in a, in plastic, and bring you your placemat, and it was all QR code menus. I'm assuming, they may have a menu, a paper menu if you needed one, but everybody I saw was, scanning, using the QR code, which is nice. I don't have to bring my glasses. I can magnify that. That's nice. So entertainment then. The entertainment is, it's going to be a little scaled down, a little different. You can't have, some of these resorts have the big theaters. They're not using the theaters. A lot of them are taking the entertainment outdoors. They're doing things a little different, which they have to. Some of the resorts are not utilizing the swim-up bars in the pools. I know the Hard Rock, when I visited there, they said they tried it. It was a disaster, closed that down. Some of them are doing, like the one resort I stayed at, the swim-up bar was open. People were great. Everybody was keeping their space, and it was working fine. But again, the resort wasn't very crowded, and that was a family resort, and they knew they could make it work. So they're doing, like I said, they're doing everything they can to keep people safe. The gyms and the fitness centers, that was a big change. They are very limiting capacity a lot, and most of them, I don't know if I heard any resort that wasn't doing reservations. Maybe one or two wasn't doing reservations out of the 8, but they were taking 1 hour reservation blocks, and then they were cleaning things down and between each group that was in there. So that was a big change. The pool and the beach seating was more spaced out. They took out chairs, tables, and but lower capacity. It wasn't really needed anyway. Spaced it out really nicely. As far as guests wearing masks, now guests wore masks at check-in. I saw at all the resorts, but they were not wearing masks on property. Most of these resorts, you're outdoors. It's open air. A few of them do have enclosed air-conditioned lobbies, like at the Hard Rock, and they did require masks. In fact, they had people in there watching, and I saw them go up to people, and they would say, "Do you need a mask?" And people would be like, "No, I have mine," and they pull it out and put it on. So, they were policing it. And like I said, the other lobbies were more open air, so it wasn't as big of an issue. So it looked like in those that were air-conditioned, they were requiring masks in the lobbies. Now, of course, some of these have lobby bars, so if you're sitting in the lobby bar area and you're drinking, then people aren't wearing the mask there. So, I mean, it is a changing environment, obviously. I mean, I think a lot of these safety precautions are here to stay. Some of them obviously not, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're wearing masks on planes for a long time. But the big thing is this is just evolving and it's changing. And, what's, going on today could be different tomorrow as far as, what the properties are doing and what the airlines are doing and what the countries are doing. I mean, that's a big one right there is, if the U.S. starts seeing spikes, then we're going to see, more restrictions by the countries, maybe different states added, so it is a lot to keep up with. So I would just recommend, I mean, if you're ready to travel, especially in the near future, contact me or another travel professional and, seek out information and know what you're doing. I actually talked to a client this week that I'm working on a trip for him, and I've planned trips for him in the past, and he was going on a trip at Thanksgiving time with his brother that his brother had planned, and I didn't plan the trip. And they were going to Jamaica, he mentioned, and I said, oh, so you're aware of all, the restrictions in place. You have to get the COVID-19 test, you have to upload it. And I said, and honestly, it's been kind of a disaster because their system has been really slow at approving. Some people are getting to the airport and not even knowing if they're approved or denied until like 2 hours before their flight. So, and then having to just either leave or scramble to get a flight. I've seen people decide then that they're going to not go to Jamaica, they're going to go to Mexico. So it's a lot of stress. And so he wasn't aware of it. And he's like, okay, I need to get with my brother and my family and, we got to figure this out if we still want to go there or not, because it is a lot of stress. I mean, if you're waiting till the last minute to know if you're going to go someplace, and some places that require 72 hours, you have to take the test within 72 hours of your flight. A lot of places can't even get the test turned around that fast, depending on where you live. And they're very particular about the type of test. So it's very spelled out in a lot of the countries in their information as far as what they require. And the test has to be in your name. The name has to be exactly as it is on your passport. And I mean, there are a lot of rules. So anyway, if you're looking to travel soon, you're ready to travel, contact me. I can help you navigate the process and find a great place for you based on what you're looking for. I love to do that. Love to hear what you want, in a resort or in an area and what you want to do and help kind of, narrow things down for you and pick a good fit. So if you have any questions, post them. I will answer any questions. Obviously, I'll be checking this and answer any questions or give me a call or shoot me an email. So I look forward to helping you in the future and help us navigate this crazy new normal. Good night.